That's there. Okay, right there.
I did, but I skipped that page.
Yeah,
Don't have to read all
and
the
it's on the
pages.
back, right?
You gave us all. I was just mad because I couldn't write on the back of it because you had printed, so I just stapled another page on there. That's what I
It's
was.
change, Elena, change.
Fine, I'll give you your one,
I
right?
don't mind. I don't mind doing the other. One save paper or something. Look at buildings to save paper if I'm wasting it on one side.
But then you're still waiting, so then no, it's not any other change.
Right?
Just the pink stuff. That's it. Just as it'll be like.
Made it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the-
Right?
it's one of the- usually it's
Darren just.
pages. Yeah.
It's busy. Imagine what it looks like up on the
It's
stage.
your classroom.
Can't tell them already.
That's where we're gonna go.
It's your classroom.
Darren, Frank,
It'll be good. Mike had a great idea under the bleachers.
We got trouble at school, we
7-0.
Is it? Okay. All to order. Pledge allegiance.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Recognition of our lovely visitors. Hello, hello. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Meetings I haven't been.
Number 3, open budget hearing. 3.1, public comment on the 25-26 budget. Hearing none.
It's gonna be good.
Okay, awards, recognitions, and correspondence.
I got two things for you. One, at your chair is a letter from the departing second grade teacher. Just wanted to that together and wanted you to see it. So we printed it out to give to you. And secondly, a huge thank you to Mr. Parker for coming out to the groundbreaking session and wielding the shovel and wrapping some dirt on it. That was great. So plug on TV. It was ironic how they did it. Record money, record budget passed 11.4. Everyone cutting, terrible, bad test scores. Oh, and here's Oakland building a. Like, wow, you guys couldn't have formatted that any better, but they saved the best for last. So that was good.
And then we have 8th grade.
The grade promotion was just now tonight, 5:30, and graduation. That's all. So, they just made it shorter. And graduation Saturday both went very well.
I only messed up once. I almost gave the wrong diploma to somebody, but I graduated on it.
It was a good recovery.
That was what she. That's great.
Okay, adjustments to the agenda.
Got that.
Okay, public comment on non-agenda items. Hearing none, okay. Consent agenda, approved meeting minutes of May 2025. Here, motions,
Make a motion that we accept and approve the consent agenda for May 2025.
motion and second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Okay, HR report, it looks like there was an updated one in front of you.
There is an updated one in front of you.
There's an additional update for that.
There's an additional update to that I'm going to give you a verbal as opposed to reprinting it piece of paper as we just talked about. Unfortunately, it was probably because I jinxed myself and said we were so close to being fully hired. We just got a resignation today from Miss Ellis, our ag teacher. So she's going to finish out her 60 days, manage summer stuff, manage fair, and then it has guiltily offered to work state fair if she needs to. We can't find anybody, but hopefully we found somebody before then. So maybe that will. Just got that today, so we will start the wheels in motion tomorrow. And back out and try to see if we can find somebody to replace. So if you guys know of any ag teachers who are looking for a job, send them our way.
Okay.
So you can add that as a resignation. Other than that, we have that position now. We're going to have one IA at the high school, but other than that, we're fully hired for next year.
You didn't need to make a motion to, since I already motioned it to accept it. Probably
We haven't heard of it. I don't know. You brought it. I don't think anybody's made a motion yet to
No.
accept it.
Not the HR. Okay. Have a motion to accept the updated with the verbal resignation HR report.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Okay, fiscal overview, Cory.
Well, on the good news, everything looks like it's going really well. I've been able to move some other stuff into grants. So we're looking like our any fund balance is in great shape. Everything seems to be coming in as I kind of anticipated for budget, from all of our federal numbers for title and Title II, Title I, Title IV. But other than that, everything seems to be clicking along just fine. I look forward to and closing down the end of the year, getting everything wrapped up for the audit. Who's ready?
Seems like we just got done with it.
I know.
Yeah.
It goes audit, budget. Well, there's also W-2s in there in the middle, but
Yeah.
other than that, that's how it runs.
No.
Are there any questions on that or the check?
I had a question on the check for corporate trust services.
That is our bond payment on
Okay.
interest.
Okay.
I knew it, and I didn't even look at it.
Good job. That was all on my end.
Because they say it's due 6/15, but they really want it 6 months. We want to get it out
Oh, no.
early.
Okay.
I would say all of our, she said all of our title funds came in as expected, and we planned on them coming in at about 15% lower than. And they were. So they came in about where we planned with the reduction in place.
So good job. Good job. Both of you.
The new year's coming, and you never know. So guess low.
Okay. Closing of the budget hearing, 9-1, accept resolution number 24-25, free budget adoptions. I have to make a motion, right, to accept that? There. I have a motion to accept the, wrong page. I was at a resolution adopting the budget for 25-26.
So do we need to?
We need to
read
read it.
Yes, I do.
Do we need to read it?
I thought we did.
We should,
We should read it.
well, I don't know that we need to read the whole page, but at least top part.
And the bottom with the government
Yeah, the risk,
General.
except the taxes.
general obligation that's a risk.
A motion to accept.
Sure. I'll move that we accept resolution number 24-25-3, resolution adopting the budget. Be it resolved as the board of the Oakland School District hereby adopts the budget for fiscal year 25-26 in the total amount of $34,359,732. This budget is posted on the district's internet website at www.oakland.k12.or.us. You want the rest of it?
I think we need to do the total appropriations, unappropriated and reserved amounts and the
Okay.
adopted budget, and then the resolution of the imposing tax and exclude from the limitation is the general obligation.
Okay. See, be it resolved, the amount shown below hereby appropriated for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025. The total appropriations, all funds, $31,764,243. Total unappropriated reserve amount, all funds, $2,595,489. Total adopted budget, $34,359,732. Resolution imposing the tax. Be it resolved that the following ad valorem property taxes are hereby imposed upon the assessed value of all taxable property within the district for tax year 2025-2026. One, at the rate of $4.6397 per $1,000 of assessed value for permanent rate tax. Two, in the amount of $334,134 for debt service for general obligation bonds. Resolution categorizing the tax. Be it resolved that the taxes imposed are hereby categorized for purposes of Article 11, Section 11B, as subject to education limitation, permanent tax rate, $4.6397 per $1,000, excluded from the limitation, general obligation debt service, $389,584. The above resolution statements were approved and declared adopted on June 11th, 2025.
Do we have a second? Okay, motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion carries. Okay, reports and discussions. Student body reports are in your packet. Or no, they're not. They're not here.
Check.
Wait, no,
Small.
no, that's the principal council reports are in your packet.
Mhm.
And the custodial reports were in there as well. Any discussions? Any comments? I do like that we had the May and the June in there.
Okay. Well,
Okay, hearing none. So 10.4 facility report.
Quick overview. We are heading into the summer of construction. There's just a ton of work going on, and so I'll give you an update on where we're at with that. LMS seismic update. So our first one, we're going to finish the boiler room this summer. They're starting to clear stuff out of there. They will on Monday. They'll start clearing stuff out. Going to fill that floor in, get that done. It's going to cost around $30,000, and then we're going to fix the hoop that broke. That new retractable hoop we put in came down, the cable came loose, and it free fell. The safety thing worked, and it stopped it from coming all the way down and slamming open, which usually causes them to come out of the ceiling. So it worked, but those are a one-time use, like a saw stop. You got to replace it. So we're waiting. We have parts ordered. We'll get that fixed, and then at that point, phase one will be completely 100% done. Woodshop addition. If you saw that up there, we're doing the metal shop, wood shop, where we're putting storage for stuff. We got ready for walls. Trusses are up. It's ready to go. It should be skinned later this week, maybe next week, and then they'll pour the cement and then just gonna finish the pit. So it's on track to be done by June 30th. I think it's gonna be actually pretty close to being done. Just huge jump there. Reader board. Just needs a weather stripping on it. We have it. Brent's going to get to it. He said he would have it done before tomorrow's meeting. So maybe not. It's been a little bit crazy out there in the dirt area. So I don't know that he got to it, but it's really going to take him an hour once he just gets down there and gets to it. Phase two, we're set to go. We will start as soon as the school year ends. The gym seismic, we pulled all the air conditioners and heating units off the roof yesterday. Started on Monday, got them all loosened up. Tuesday, they brought the guy that's doing sheet metal, that's working, that is managing our job, has space at his house, a caged area, a fenced in area. So instead of trying to store them here, he pulled everything off, put them on a trailer, and he took them to his house to sit and store there. So everything's ripped off up there. Come Monday, they will block off the lobby and start abating all the asbestos in there and tearing out the restrooms and get going. So, and then they'll start all the roof work and stuff in the back as well. And we're taking off that low roof of the laundry room, and they're going to pull the boiler out in one piece, so we don't have to abate it, cut it up into pieces like we did Lincoln, which is a huge savings there. So getting going on that, and got a good jump start on it. Still planning on the high point ceiling roof on the outside will be done next summer. with new lights and the new floor will all be next summer. So this summer it'll be all the lower level roof, all the T111 around the high part of the roof will be replaced. The roof over the laundry room will be redone, and then all of the seismic upgrades that go as part of it. Almost all the work we're doing for the seismic piece is in the attic, so we don't have to do a lot of outside stuff. And they'll peel off that overhang that goes along the side of the gym will be peeled off and redone, and then shear walls going on the far end. So all that's ready to start on Monday. They jump started getting that stuff off so they could actually start with the asbestos at one end and tearing out of the boiler end on the other. So all that'll get started on Monday. Softball field. We got our final plans. We got all our prices back. We got to start value engineering stuff out. The budget for all of the things that we had in play for it from the plans is about 230,000, and our budget is about 160, 170. So we got to cut about $60,000 out of that. Right now, McKinsey's going through and pricing each individual piece and looking at some value engineering options. Hey, if we take this piece out, we can save this and so forth. And then we'll make those decisions probably in a meeting sometime next week. And then we're pretty much planning on mid-July to break ground there. As far as the gym goes, for the bonds, we broke ground last week. They dug all the footings, pulled about 1,000 yards worth of dirt out, and we took over to the fill behind the bleachers. They've got a lot of their plumbers have been in for the last 2 days, so a lot of the underground piping's in. So I think they're going to start. I would expect them to dig and pour footings. Hopefully by the end of next week, we should be done. I mean, they've dug the footings. I don't understand the process totally. Dug it all, filled it back with gravel, and now they're going to redig it. But anyways, clearly they know what they're doing. So, but we're making good process there. Permits are over there. They've been paid for. The process of getting in there was a challenge, but all done and sitting at the county waiting to finish up, and we paid all those fees already, so we're good to go there. Development of the area behind the track, found a little bit of good news on that, we think. We've been digging off that south end that Larry gave us and said go ahead and get it down to grade. We pulled a lot of dirt from there and we're still digging. We ran into some pretty big rocks, but we dug 3 test holes that we got down another 2 feet or so, and it was still diggable. So right now he's in the process of doing all that. Big obstacle was getting the engineer and the dirt guy on the same page. We did that with a sit-down meeting last week, and since then we've seen massive movement. We got the drain pipe is in, covered, it got felted, rocked, and then refelted, so they're now starting to bury it. So at this point now we're starting to compact and move dirt. We have the 5,000 yards that we pulled, 5,000 or 6,000 we got from here, 1,000, which is going to cost us a change order, obviously, because that's 1,000 yards that Corey didn't have in his bid, which fine, still much cheaper for him to put it in place while he's already there than doing it otherwise. The good news that we found is there's a chance that the engineer seems to think, since we changed the plans and moved the road that we're putting in for Larry and dropped it down to the bottom of the fill instead of putting it up at grade, saved us about 3,000 yards of fill to do that. So there's a good chance that the engineer believes that on the north end, there's a good hillside over there that if Larry allowed us, we could dig that down and probably have enough dirt there and not have to go out to bid and get another 5,000 to 10,000 yards of dirt. Huge savings if that happens. No, even if we buy the dirt from Larry, we're still getting it at a massive reduction in cost of what it would be to go out. So feel like we're still probably 2 weeks away from being able to see that and get everything compacted and in place to see just how much more we need. But it's really moving at a good rate now, finally. And Corey has said he's here now. He was gone for a while, but back on Monday and is here till it's done. So, or at least until phase 1 is done. So that's a real positive. And then that's all I got. Saved. We had our ADA walkthrough. They did a facility assessment. The state comes down and does that just for our accessibility for students and people with disabilities. They said it went fine. We got a verbal, it's fine. We'll get your report to you in the mail. So I haven't seen it yet. It's just last week that they were here. So I should hear back on that. Of course, hottest day of the year on Monday, 5 AC units at the high school all failed. So that was a fun afternoon up there. that coincided with us started unhooking the units on the gym, but that's not what was connecting. They just were having that crop of all those um, mini splits that we used up there. They all have faulty pumps in them, and so there's been like 4 units we've replaced 6 pumps in them, but they're all under warranty still. And every time they replace a pump, we get another X number of time for warranty, and they seem to continue to go out under warranty. So it hasn't cost us any money per se, but it's definitely cost some. But that's what it is. So do that. As I said, graduation last weekend was great, super big crowd, really crowded, but went really well. And 8th grade promotion also was really crowded, big crowd in there. In the final, hopefully final 8th grade promotion in the Lincoln Middle School cafeteria, and we'll be moving next year to the Oakland Middle School gym. Last day of school tomorrow, half day, buses are rolling at noon, and then we have a staff luncheon at 1:15, grabbing Dakota Street, bringing it in, feeding everybody, and then give our years of recognition awards to all of our 5-year increment staff, and say a few words and send them off for the summer. I jinxed it by writing fully staffed -1 IA, so we're fully staffed -1 IA and 1 hard to fill teaching position. So we will dive into the next 2 months looking at that. And then lastly, and I sent this at your table, I'm next to lastly, I said that was coming after, but so I told you, I think last month about PACE and their focus on the SAM stuff, sexual and molestation. So I had called PACE, and part of that process to get our reduction in costs and to be able to get that SAM insurance going forward, we had to do a PACE walkthrough. I thought the PACE walkthrough was strictly around the SAM stuff, but it is not. It's just a full-blown PACE walkthrough, which is great. We haven't had one of those in about probably 4 or 5 years. And so they go through and basically walk through the entire, all 3 buildings, all everything, not just our 3 school buildings, but on the track, the grounds, the greenhouse, everything. They look at everything. So came back and we only have 12 things that we need to address. All were either advisory, moderate, with 1 severe. Just going through here, I mean, I'm not going to read it to you, but basically the first 4 are 2 at Lincoln and 2 at OBS about the playground. The pea gravel gets bunched up and instead it needs to be raked out and flat. It's supposed to have 9 inches of padding. Same with the bark mulch or bark chips, whatever you want to call them down at elementary. It just needs to be spread out. So we're going to get that into our maintenance routine of, once a month going out and raking it down. And then the other one at Lincoln was the, underneath all that pea gravel, there's the ground cloth, and kids run on it enough, it starts peeling up, or not peeling, but coming up to the surface. So it's a tripping hazard. In the weight room, there was a strap on one machine that's a little bit frayed, and then one of the covers on one of the bench press things has got a couple of rips in it, which happens when you use it all the time, and fix that. It was nice having to tell me that the roll-up doors to the weight room have holes in it from baseball hits. It's been that way for 10 years. And softball don't practice in the high school gym anymore, but whatever. So we need to fix that. I'm not sure how that's a safety concern, but we need to do that. I X'd the top one on the back page, the retractable hoop system. All of our ones, we don't have fail safes on any of them. The only one we have that on is there. So what our plan is, when the gym is done, middle school gym is done, when they're placing all of that gym equipment in there, we will have whoever's doing that, we're just going to we'll arrange it beforehand, but they'll come in and stick them on all of our other hoops. The problem with that is there's not companies that do that. You just can't find them. I mean, McKinsey installed this hoop, and he did it. They warranted it because he followed the instructions and did everything he was supposed to, but it's just really hard to find places to do that. So we're going to have that group on site. So we'll go ahead and just have them fill, and that's the 4 hoops at the high school and the 1 at the elementary school. So we'll get those up to par. And then the severe one was really the SAM stuff. All of our classroom doors that have windows in them have coverings over, shades over for lockdowns and so forth. You got to drop those shades. they're supposed to be up at all times. We've just gotten lazy with our habits and they keep them down or leave them down and then they close their door. That's just inviting trouble. So that'll be our focus next year in our buildings for our principals to remind teachers and just be diligent about either your doors open all the time or it's closed, your window shades up. So just managing that. And then chemistry room, we need a different cabinet for storing our acids. Then our drill press is not bolted down to be done. And then we have exit, which up exit that was free from obstruction, needs to be free from obstructions. That being said, he did come back out and he was highly complimentary over our wood shop and metal shop, having the extra space in there, and said that the safety things that we have in there are very, very good, better than most schools that he walks through. And it will be even cleaner once we get those two buildings done and they're able to move that, all this wood and metal storage out there. So really, for the most part, with only 12 pretty small fixes, it says a lot. So really good for us in the big picture. And like I said, all's well, really. I'd say it's been a challenging last month and a half in the buildings, but as well to summer construction. Third summer construction. That is what feels like the heaviest one with all the projects.
10.6 enrollment reports in your packet.
I noticed that I wrote up my little spiel for tomorrow. We finished this year at 638. That's 11 more students than we finished last year with, according to my little spiel that I said. 11 more students, 627. Good. We're full. We finished full, which is good for the budget. Stressful on the staff and but good shape.
And with our current kindergarten that we have slated, we'll be at 632 if everybody. Split round up spring at the fall.
And generally speaking, we are, and I'm speaking, I guess, from the high school. I don't know, I'm not as familiar with Lincoln and ODS, but I think they do the same. We end up at the high school with about 20 kids every year that go, that we're not expecting to leave, but just don't come back. And then we have the new kids come in. So we'll see what that wash is. If that's 40 or 50 kids district-wide that are leaving, I've already signed, I think, 5 or 6 out of inner districts going out of kids that we have that are going to be leaving. So no telling what that looks like, but as of right now, and we will be diligent on closing and probably earlier than normal capping grade levels.
What do we like to see our student numbers to be at for classroom?
You can't really give an average on classroom because building to building is so much different. I mean, a class of a grade level of 60 at the high school is pretty doable. You can move, because their periods change and so forth. You got to work your sections a little more creative with your sections. So you don't end up with 2 sections of 30. I would say 50. Our general rule of thumb is 50, especially at the elementary, anything over 50 to 52, we start watching really closely, try and keep those under 26, 27 or get big. That's a lot. Middle school, same way, because they're kind of set up the same way and they do 2 sections. So I would say we have leaned to 28, 29 sections. So we're at 57, 58. So probably going to roll that back a little bit because we ended up higher than we do. And I start shooting at 25, which is still 27 in a section, which is a lot.
Yeah. Enterprise zone follow-up.
Talked to Terry. They are voting on their meeting next week. He said he doesn't love it, but he thinks that it's for someone a good thing because they have so much developable space that they're probably going to support it. And I said, okay, that's great, but so unless you guys have a different directive, that's what we'll. And I got the feeling from the last meeting.
Okay. 28 DLC enrollment cap.
The DLC class we're bringing in, we've got a teacher hired for it. Got that solidified this week, so we are set to go next week. We need to put a cap on that, as we talked about. when we cap a grade level, hey, we decide what our number of that grade level is. When we get to it, we usually take that number, whatever it is. Say, let's say we say a cap is 60 at grade level 9. We usually will cap that, stop it at 58 in case we get a move in. Move-ins we're going to take no matter what. So we'll take that and look at that cap. So we've looked at that. The DLC is a program. It's not a grade level. It's a program. So we are less able to. We can't just say the DLC is closed no matter what, and that's it. What we can do though is put a cap on the DLC. Once that cap's in place, then if we have somebody that wants to enter district in, but our DLC is full, we say, well, he did enter district in. Then we meet with them and say, okay, you can come, but you have a DLC eligible student, but our DLC is full. You will not get in there. And at that point, generally, they decide this isn't the best fit for them because we're not going to be able to manage their student to the best of our abilities or to the best of the student's needs. So bring it to you guys to get that cap in place. We don't have a hard cap number for our other grade levels, but I believe this program we need a hard cap on. Talk to some neighboring districts that didn't have one in place when they opened it up, and they ended up forming it. One of them ended up trying to make a second VLC room because they had so many and it was disruptive to what they had. So we feel like we would like a cap placed on it. Our recommended max in that room is 8. So I feel like that's should be.
What do you guys think? Great.
As we're sitting right now, what we have been pushing into our resource room and Jen, we're at that. So keeping the grade levels for the DLC as well. The younger grades, because if you have, say, kinders and then a sophomore, or it's just that age range is too much. But then we have other things. It's up to the high school.
Okay, so it sounds like. I think we're going to be.
Yeah, that's an action item.
Okay. 10.9 DLC job descriptions.
Because it's a new position, new jobs that we created, we needed job descriptions for them, so they're in there. Together, that's a description for them, so you guys can look them over.
Point 10, OHS seismic option splits.
So we got the high school seismic grant, $2.5 million. High school. I have been from day one when we put the application together skeptical that we can do that project for $2.5 million. McKinsey, our CMGC, has also been skeptical about that. Alan, equally skeptical about that. ZCS, our engineers and architects for the seismic, who've done the other ones, are not. They think, oh yeah, we can do it. So I kind of let them, it's what we pay them for and so forth. But in the end, we got the grant and I said, yeah, we need to have a meeting to just determine that we can do this. And my concern is, as you guys all know, the hallway floor in there's something going on, right? There's something geologically wrong under that building that is making the floor shift like it is. So we had a meeting 2 Fridays ago. I met with ZCS, the guy that does all the planning, and McKinsey was there, and myself and Alan and that, and then they brought their civil engineer from Portland down that does a lot of the writing but hasn't been on campus a whole lot, but he does the drawings. They give him all the plans and he does one of their higher ups. So he came down and we walked through it, and the determination that they came to was that the way that the building's built, the long haul is really what we're talking about. Short haul is not too bad. There's a little bit of a dip there, but mostly it's in the long haul. So what they believe to be happening is that you've got the exterior walls on the outside of the classrooms, And then you have the interior walls of the classrooms, which is essentially the hallway walls, right? There's no cracking in those walls in the plaster. If you look outside, there's no cracking in those exterior walls. The brick that is not that veneer red brick, that great quality stuff is not broken. There's not big cracks in it. There's not big out of plane lines. So their belief is that the exterior walls and those two interior walls of the hallway are solid, good walls that they dug all the way down to whatever. We're assuming that there's this big, huge piece of shale or rock underneath there that's a ways down. So what they believe is going on is when they built the building, the high school dug all the way down to that hard rock, and they poured the footings for the walls. And then they filled it with just a bunch of not good stuff for fill inside those, and then did their cement floor. Then water is running across that top of that rock, and it's soaking up into that bad fill they put in there. And then he used some fancy term, I think he made it up, to be honest with you, but, that basically it swells, and that causes the floor to adjust and change. But when the water dries out, the dirt stays swollen and won't go back down, and the concrete shifts to match it. So they say. So we said, okay, well, that sounds like a great theory. How are we going to prove that? So essentially what the plan is right now, and I want you guys in the loop because you're going to have to make a decision here pretty soon, is we are going to do some testing over the summer. We're going to spend probably around $20,000. Well, let me back up. So I signed the paperwork and accepted the grant. So we've accepted the seismic grant at this point to go forward with the $2.5 million to do the entire high school. At this point, though, in about probably 2 months into the summer, so maybe either the August or the September meeting, they'll have a decision to make. So tonight, I'm just kind of prepping you with what that decision is going to look like. So we're going to go in and this summer, we'll dig a 4-foot by 4-foot hole in the middle of the hallway, clear down to wherever that rock base is. And then we'll do that one, a big one in the middle, and then we'll do 2 test ones on each side to test the idea. Is this what's really going on? Because if you go into the science room, you see the same shift. And if you go in the library, you see the same shift. Again, their theory is those sections are filled with bad fill. So they're going to dig it out and see if that's what's going on. From there, they will do their engineering magic to see if, okay, that's all that's going on. So what's the solution to that? And then we're going to have to make one of 3 choices. First choice would be, and when I'm saying first, I'm just giving you the 3. I'm not putting them in what I think is more important to least important. First choice is we continue forward with the grant at $2.5 million. We try and do the whole high school. At best, that would be we're getting a seismic overhaul, and that's about it. We'll get a little bit we might get some we'll definitely get the hallway and the floor in the hallway replaced because they're going to have to repair it and do something to stop that from shifting. I'm not even sure we get lights out of that. It's going to be a bare minimum, and that means we will not touch that boiler room. I mean, we won't touch it. The boiler in there is bigger than any of the other ones we've managed. And that one, the door to it, to get into it, as rotten as it is tiny. It would have to come out in pieces. It'd be easy $200,000 to get that thing out of there. So we won't even touch that space with option 1. Option 2 would be we do that testing and we realize we can't do it for $2.5 million. And we go back to the state and basically beg for the same thing we got out of Lincoln to say, we can't do this. We thought we could, but we got into it and we found all of these problems that we weren't aware of, and we can't do it for $2.5 million. And asked them to split it. We were the first district that they had ever done that for. 3 years ago, first time they'd ever even addressed it. Since then, they've done it 5 other times. So there is a possibility that they could address that. I don't know if that plays in our favor or doesn't play in our favor, that we've already done it once, maybe not. That's the best case scenario, because we would split it right there at the office, do the long haul, do the short haul, because we're also gonna have to replace windows. The windows in the front all have to be replaced because there's a lot of rot in there and those are too small. The windows in the back are brand new. They're not sizably acceptable because there's too much window on the wall. So instead of taking those out, because they're brand new, they put a film over them, essentially kind of like makes it a little bit like the shatterproof stuff, the cheaper version of managing it. So anyway, they're looking at options. That's option 2. Best case scenario for us would be that. The only downside to that option is it puts us another year out to finish the high school, which pushes the cafeteria and OES back another year, which is not great, but it's not awful. There's a reason that they're at the bottom of the list. They're the newest schools. They're in the best shape. When we did the initial seismic walkthroughs 5 years ago, they were without question the best buildings. They could survive without one. We're not going to go down that route. We will continue pushing those routes. There's also a chance that they would give us this one. They would split it and give us both, but my guess is they'll split it and then give us a second one the next year, if they even allow us to do that. And then the third option is we give the grant back, which you can do. We'd have to pay the $20,000 that we used for the exploration of stuff. We'd have to cut a check for that, and then we give it back, and then we reapply for the high school in 2 different sections and just start over. So that's probably the second best of the 3 options, except that really does kicks us another year down the road. And then there's a chance the cafeteria would jump ahead of it. I'm actually a little surprised that they awarded us the high school instead of the cafeteria because of the gathering space and stuff for the cafeteria. I thought that would make it a little more important, and which is really kind of what I was hoping for. So if that's the next one we'd get, and then when the next round came, they would have upped it. And the word is they were going to up them to $4 million. That hasn't gotten as much traction in the legislative session that we now do. So that's where we're at with that. Just wanted to give you those 3 options. We're going to be faced with that in, I'd like to say August, maybe the September. And then if it becomes option 1 and 3, go forward as is and barely cut it. And they're going to have to give me some pretty big convincing of why that's the best way to go. Because it's just a big building. It's a big building and there's a lot of work that needs to be done. Seismically speaking, the positive note though is if that really is the case and those footings are poured like they say and they're that strong, and with all of the movement in the floor, there hasn't been movement in the walls, the seismic piece of it itself might be a little bit lesser. The problem is you get up in that attic and it is messy. I mean, there's stringers going everywhere. There's pipes going everywhere. It's messy up there. I'd say the best we're going to get out of if we go that route on the whole building is we'll get a new roof, which that roof's only about 5 years old. They did not do it correctly when they did it. They didn't resheet it like they should have, and they will resheet it this time around. But that's just part of the seismic upgrade. So it's not all unicorns and rainbows, but there's a good chance that in the end, we'll have a decision to make, and it will be better than we have. The question is how much other stuff comes with it. So it would really be great to split that in 2 though and address that boiler room and get that boiler out of there because we can reclaim that space. That's a huge space in there. I mean, whether it's office space or classroom space there's just lots of options for it, but it is a big space. So hopefully if we're able to split it, we'll be able to reclaim that space. And for the record, that chimney is ginormous. I mean, it looks big sticking out, but I think it's almost 30 feet off the roof. It's tall.
All dressed for Santa Claus.
Yeah. I think it's coming in there part way down. Any questions on that?
10.11 Washington property.
we're just an update on vacating the street. We're getting there. I mean, we're making strides. The city's seen it. They've got the application. They are, right now, Carolyn just sent me a thing that she sent out the first advertisement for the 14-day window of public, whatever, that first process. So we're getting there. Initially, when I went to the city council meeting and presented the application and addressed all that, they said they scheduled me for the June 17th, which is next Tuesday. Well, that was way too soon. Not enough time to do all of the advertising and all the things that they have to do. So right now, it appears they're going to push a meeting. I don't know if it's a regularly scheduled meeting or a mid-month meeting, but the week of July 28th, 21st, 22nd, somewhere in there. They're going to get a meeting to then address the application. I got an email yesterday, and so I made the calls today. There is allegedly a sewer and water line that goes down through that property. Because at that meeting, they said there was not, but there is. But they need an easement. So I called Dave Edwards to start the process of him drawing up an easement, and he'll do the exhibit. I'll send it off to our lawyers, get it all official, and then turn that into the city. So if they do choose to vacate the street, they'll have an easement in place for their water and sewer line that's already in there. And then, which really is no skin off our nose, that it's going to have to happen anyway. So we'll get it done, and then at that point we'll be at the July meeting. Hopefully we get it approved. They agree to vacate it, and then I will pretty much get it on the market shortly after.
There.
10.12 walkway plan for the city. It's in your packet with some of the pictures.
The email that came was a little bit clear. This copied okay. Essentially, it's just 3 or 4 different versions of the walking path that's going to start down here by the sign going in there. It's going to walk. It's going to come up along here on this grass area, and then it'll go across the driveway. It'll go behind the bleachers, and it'll kind of jut over a little bit closer to the fence and go essentially rise along the top of the hill. And Lori Price, the city's engineer, sent me these pictures. When I met with her and we walked all this area and talked about it, you can see that jut up there from kind of behind the dugouts. There's a pretty big gap between the road and the walkway. We're trying to get them to, when they do it, take that dirt down as well and just put packed gravel or something in there. So essentially it'll make it, I'm not going to say it's going to make another lane for pickup to help alleviate the pickup and drop off nightmare that we have traffic wise, but I think it'll help and it'll lighten it out some. I also don't believe that the city's going to be too eager for us to park on it when we are at baseball games, but so.
You're gonna have parents driving down it. I can already see it. Oh, there's a lane. Okay.
And then I did follow up with her on a question of what her timeline was. She said late summer, early fall. So I really hope they're not doing it during school. That's gonna just be, whatever. I said, kind of told them that, but can't
Well, this has really been her project. She's the one that brought it to us and took care of it and just said, hey, you want to do this? Because basically every couple of years we qualify for these ODOT grants. And so we always try and find something that we can do. She was completely in charge of this one. She just took it and ran it.
And it will be a huge, I mean, it's going to be a big bonus. I mean, it'll give the opportunity for the OMS students that are walking up and down to the high school could go that route and stay off of that path back there, which again, not a big deal, but would keep them away from the elementary kids that are in the playground, and not sure they have some interactions when they go by that are, I'm sure, mostly positive, but sometimes not.
One going yes,
So
one
I
going
think,
no.
I think there's an opportunity to get them, some other routes. I think that's something PE could use. All of a sudden they can now run on that path, and I think it's going to be a great thing. And process anything. So.
Okay, public comment regarding agenda item.
What is DLC? Developmental learning.
Good question. Okay, action items. So we need to make a motion for 12.1 DLP enrollment cap, and I think we discussed having a cap about 8 at 8. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion for the DLC enrollment cap at 8.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. 12.2 DLC job descriptions. We have a motion to accept the job description.
Sure, I would move that we accept the DLC job description as written.
We have a second.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carried. Upcoming meeting inputs, Mr. Clark.
Just a reminder, no July meeting, so August 13th will be our next board meeting. Back from summer, hopefully at that point, not gonna, hopefully by then, the high school seismic is, at least all the interior, restrooms and so forth is wrapped up. Hopefully, phase 2 at Lincoln also wrapped up. Those classrooms or those locker rooms would now be, at that point, be classrooms. The bathrooms would be done. They are replacing the floor, warranty floor and everything. So hopefully those 2 projects are done. Softball hopefully has started and we've started digging through that. And then hopefully hopefully the dirt behind the Mathis swap is at least all packed in place. I don't anticipate having the fence done and everything done, but close. And then the gym should, at that point, walls will be up for sure. I wouldn't be shocked if there's a roof on it and they're starting on it. They still say, even though it's a really, really, really fast timeline, that we should, it's still semi-confident Christmas Eve-ish is going to be done.
That's good.
That's what I was thinking.
Nice.
Good. They good or they order? Saying that backwards. No? Okay, adjourn.